guys, welcome back to Handmade with Tara. I am Tara, a stay-at-home mom to 3 beautiful boys and an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up. And today I have for you the Charming Duck Pond suite, and it's actually called Lily Pond Lane is what the name of the suite is. And that can be found in the annual catalog on page 45. So this is the suite here, Lily Pond Lane, and you can see it has the stamps here, the dies, the embellishments, and the designer series paper that all coordinates. So, and this can be found again on page 45 in the annual catalog. Alright, so I am just going to jump right into tonight's projects and let you know that I did one project that is a simple stamper, don't need any embossing machine to complete this project. So super simple, fun stamping. And then I also did a couple of advanced cards as well to show off some of the new products that are in this new catalog. So the So Swirly embossing folder, I'm going to use that one with this card. And then the last card I'm going to do is this one here. And this one uses the new Spotlight on Nature dies. So these are circle dies, and there are 2 separate dies, and they are like alternating with patterns. So fun. Going to use these, show these new products off. I'll give you all the measurements when I'm showing you each of the cards, so we're just going to jump right in. Okay, so for the first one I use a lot of stamps, so I'm going to keep the stamps right here beside me. And the first thing that I always do is I grab the designer series paper and then I flip it over so that I can see what color inks I need to pull that coordinate with the suite. So Balmy Blue, Granny Apple Green, Gray Granite, Peach Pie, Pretty Peacock, and Pretty in Pink. I pulled all of these colors. So I have them right here ready to use them. And then I always have a Memento Black close by, as well as the embellishments that I'm going to use that coordinate with the suite, and some Peach Pie new ribbon. And we're just going to jump right in. Okay, so here are the measurements for this first card that we're going to be working on. So, and I'll walk through them as I come to the piece that I'm using. So first off, I need Pretty in Pink cardstock. This is cut 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and it is scored at 5.5 and 4 1/4. So, and I didn't even write the 4 1/4 here. 4 1/4, scored at 5.5 and 4 1/4, because we're going to make a fun, like it's not really a fun fold, but yes, we're going to make a different side fold here. And then we need 2 pieces of 4x4 white cardstock. So one of them we're going to stamp on, the other one we're going to use as an insert that's going to go on the inside of the card here. So here and here. All right. And then I used a little bit of Balmy Blue. This one's going to be 4 1/8 by 4 1/8, just to give a base to this white. That's gonna layer on the front here. And then the designer series paper, this is 1 inch by 4 1/8. That's gonna go on the spine here. So just like that. And I am going to go ahead and stamp first because that's going to take the bulk of the time for this beginner friendly card here. So these are photopolymer stamps and they stamp really nicely. If you have a foam pad, you can put underneath. It just kind of gives it a little bit of support here, so we can make nice clear images. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the happy birthday. So you can do it in any of the colors that coordinate. I use the balmy blue, but of course you can use whichever color you like best. You can use a combination of colors. You can try balmy blue, you know, granny apple green and peach pie, like whatever you like to do. So, and then I just kind of started up here in this top corner and made a nice firm print. And then I'm going to clean them in between uses here. So, and then I was thinking about doing another color, doing 3 different colors. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's kind of fun that it's not perfect because it's a handmade card. Whoever's going to get it and receive it is not going to have another card like it. So don't be overly critical with anything. Then I'm going to stamp my ducks. So there's 2 different ducks in this set. Both of them are super cute, and let me show you. So, and if you're a beginner stamper, you just tap, tap, tap that duck, get her on there, and then we're going to easily just peel this off. And I'm also going to do this other duck. So you can do whatever you want. You can add the baby ducks, you can add the frogs. I added a couple of the frogs. And you can just make a mural of the pond. And these 2. So I got the frog here. I'm just going to show these. Everybody's coming to the birthday party here. Here we go. Just like that. And then I want to grab this big one here. And I'm going to do a couple of granny apple green. Here, let's see if I can't get that a little bit closer for you. There we go. And so I'm actually going to move the foam pad as I want this to come off the edge a little bit. So this is going to look a little bit different than the first one that I did, just because I'm adding the greenery in different spots. So I just want to add in a couple of different spots. So this is just a fun, simple stamper. And I'm using a D block just in case you were wondering. So we're going to add some more of these on this one, as I really like these. These are super fun. Well, you know what? I'm actually going to use this for the duck bills and feet. So there's one. And I'm going to switch it out for this one now. For the other duck. And you can use the inside of the frog stamp, so we can stamp a couple of frogs. So I did do one with Granny Apple Green, and I stamped off. So stamp off, stamp the little guy, just like that. And then I'm gonna clean this off. I'm gonna come back to that one in a second, but I am gonna do the feathers of this duck are bright green, apple green. And then the other one is going to be gray granite. So just really mixing in all of these beautiful colors that are coordinating with this suite. And you can see they all look very nice together. Very beautiful. I could have lined that up a little bit better. I'm not too worried about it. Alright, we can bring our other frog back out. And let's do a balmy blue. And I'm going to do also a pretty peacock. One of my all-time favorite colors. Love this peacock color. It's like a green blue. It's really beautiful. Alright, and then I'm just going to add a couple of pink lily pads. So I'm just gonna I think I also added some green lily pads. Let me do that. So this is just, if you can see this, simple stamper. And we'll add this guy down here. Yeah. So you can keep adding if you like. You can add different things. You can add all the ducks. You could add all the baby ducks if you want. However you like. But I'm happy with the way that that looks. So I'm going to now, I'm just going to assemble. So I'm going to use my green glue here. And I'm going to start by just adding this right to the base here. I just do a thin layer, super thin layer of glue all the way around. And then the same, I'm going to add this right to the front. Same way. So sometimes I like to talk about how I wait until midnight to do my tutorials so that my children don't interrupt me. So this is designer series paper. You can use whichever side that you like. It doesn't really matter. I chose to use the blue side, but either side will work. This blue side has a couple of beautiful little lily pads on it, so I kind of wanted to include those in the front here. And then I'm going to add a piece of ribbon, and the way that I did this was I just draped it across like that, cut. So, and then I actually like to use my Stampin' Seal Plus for this. And I just make a couple of straight glue marks. And then I'm going to pull this around on the top and the bottom. This ribbon that we already cut. Just like that. And then since the glue is already on there, I can just push this down now. I'm gonna go ahead and add my insert, which if you're gonna stamp it, I suggest you stamp it before you lay it down. I kept it simple on these cards tonight. I didn't really do too much on the inside, but you can always add whatever the occasion is for yourself. Just like that. And lastly, I just kind of cut, let's see how long that is, about 4.5 inches of this beautiful peach ribbon. Peach, I don't know if you noticed or not, but this is definitely my favorite of the new in colors that Stampin' Up! Just came out with. I told myself, I was like, we need another orange, we need another orange, we need another orange. Luckily, we got this peach pie, and it's perfect. It's exactly what I was hoping for. So we're just gonna add a little twisty tie bow here. And well, this is lastly, like double last bonus. We're gonna add a couple of these awesome gems. So I just kind of put them anywhere and everywhere. You can do different colors, you can do all the same color, you can do all the different sizes, you can do the same size, it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna do all different colors on this one. And I kind of am mixing them around. I usually do some kind of triangle, but that is card number 1 and that is done. So you see how easy that was. Total simple stamper. If you do not have an embossing machine, this is perfect for you. So just get your stamps, get all the inks, and you can either do the inks, which is really cool because these are 2 steps, or if you don't want to have all the ink colors, you can use the markers or the blends so that you can color everything in. So that is definitely your personal preference. So again, here, let me hold this up here so you can see those measurements. If you want to pause the video and write them all down, this is what I did. And card number 1 is done. All right. let's move on to card number 2. Kind of make some space here. And I am going to do this card here. So here are all the measurements for this card. So here, I'll hold this up here. So 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 scored at 4 1/4 of the cardstock that you're going to use. 4 7/8 by 3 5/8 inches. This is basic beige. That's a new color that Stampin' Up just came out with. That's very neutral and I love. 3 by 3 1/2 white. 5 by 3 3/4 white insert. 5 1/4 by 4 basic beige again. 1 by 1 1/2, I'm sorry, 1 by 1 1/2 for the sentiment, and 1 5/8 inches by 1 1/8 inches for peacock to go behind the sentiment. Okay, as we go through them, I will say them again, so you don't have to worry. I'm gonna continue to repeat them to make it easy to remember, hopefully. And I'll just move some stuff out of my way here. I'm gonna put this here. All right, so for this one, what I did was I took the basic beige and I'm going to use that So Swirly embossing folder. Remember, this is what it looks like here. So I'm going to use that embossing folder to make that really beautiful pattern there on the bottom. So that is the first step for me. And this is not a 3D embossing folder. Most of the embossing folders that I have are 3D. This one is only a regular embossing folder, so you're going to need a 1 plate and then a 3 sandwich. So 3 plates on either side. So let me go ahead and do this first. Alright, so once you emboss that piece, you can pull that out. It's going to have that nice texture on it. Then I can set that out of the way. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm also going to go ahead and, I don't ever do the same thing twice, it seems. I'm going to go ahead and put my inserts in. So I did cut a basic beige color for the insert. So, and I thought about just doing like this as the insert, but I don't know, I just decided that I wanted white because I like the way that the colors come through better on the white than on the basic beige. So they're still beautiful on the basic beige, I wanted the colors to match perfectly, and I was worried that the basic beige would make it a little muted instead of bright colors, maybe. Okay. So this basic beige is going to be the base layer that's going to go on like this, and then this piece is going to get layered on top of this piece here. So before I attach anything, I'm going to go ahead and stamp this, and I'm going to use the Balmy Blue and I'm going to use these fun brushes again. So I use the Balmy Blue, and then I'm just going to add some of these. do it right there. And then I use this pretty pink. So most of this card, with the exception of the swirly embossing folder, is mostly simple stamping as well. So if you don't have that swirly embossing folder, you don't have an embossing machine, you don't have to worry. You can pretty much make this card. You just need to improvise the swirls. So you don't have to add texture there at all. You can add a bow, you can just figure something else out. It doesn't have to be like this. So, and then on this card, I did use the little ducks, the little duck, and I'm going to use an A block for him. And then I just kind of made them so that they were walking across the lily pond. Just like that. I'm going to use the gray granite here. So this one's going to be a little bit different than the first one that I did, because I add a little gray on these ducklings. And I actually used the little beacon feet, and I made a little path of like little duck feet, it looks like, through the lily pond here. So just another cool, clever way to use that. And so that's done there. Okay, so one of my favorite things to do is use the blending brushes. So on this piece here, what I did was I grabbed the peach pie and the pretty in pink colors, and I'm going to start with the peach pie, and I'm going to just take my blending brush. I just going to use like a little corner of that, bring it over to the paper so that it's not touching actually where you're going to use it, just so that you can get those first smudges out of the way. And then I'm just doing light circles all the way around the edges here at the top of this piece of paper. I love this color. I don't know why. I just love this orangey color. It's so happy. It's so bright. And then I'm going to use the pink, pretty in pink color, and the same idea. So I'm just going to grab a little corner of that. I'm going to start on my scrap paper here, and then I'm just going to come in right through the middle here and add a little beautiful orangey pink sky here in the background, just like that. It's so simple. I love, love, love the blending brushes. That is definitely one of my favorite techniques. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this last piece, and then we can start to assemble. So I use the Pretty Peacock because it's going to match that base, and I used the Hello Friend stamp. So tap, tap, tap. Firm press. beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and assemble all of this. And then I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals, but not before I attach these pieces. Alright, so I just went ahead and put this right in the middle. You can do it a little bit to the top if you want, in the middle, however you like. I just centered it the best that I could. I eyeballed that and laid that down. Alright, and then one of my favorite ribbons is this neutral ribbon here. And the way I measure it is super scientifical, where I just lay it right over top of it like this. And then I cut it that length. So easy. Alright. So advanced, guys. Just saying. Alright. So, and then I'm just using glue dots. I added the glue dots to the back of this. One by one. Glue dots. And glue dot. These are just the mini glue dots. I like them. I put on there 3 different glue dots, and I'm just going to add those on right there at the bottom to bring those 2 things together. And then you can turn it over here and trim that back. If you need to. And we're going to attach this to the front of our card. So these swirlies, you can have them pushed up or you can have them pushed down. It's just your personal preference. You can change it up depending on the card, which is great. But I just love this. It was simple. Hello, friend. And going to grab a couple of bling to, and we're just going to add some, whoops, take your pick tool, there we go. So that is card number 2. So simple, and those sweet little ducks, little baby ducks. Card number 2 is done. And last but not least, let's do card number 3 together. And here are the measurements for this card. So we're going to do a base card. Stock is white, and that's going to be 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So that's just a normal card base. So 5.5 by 4 1/4 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 inches. And then a piece that's base is peach, 5 1/4 by 4. A white piece that's 5 by 3 3/4. Designer series paper, 3.5 by 5. 2 by 2 white piece for the sentiment, and peach pie ribbon, and the pretty peacock stamp ink is the ink that I used on this one. So this one is so awesome and simple because the designer series paper is going to do the work for us. So I just love both these sides of the paper are gorgeous, and we're just going to make this very simple. I will do my stamping first. So I need my pretty peacock and have a lovely day. So have a lovely day. This. And right in the middle. And then I can find the circle. Again, these are called Spotlight on Nature dies. That's this one. It's the second to smallest on one of the pages, and it fits perfectly over that. So I'm just going to use a little piece of washi tape. After I get that lined up exactly how I like it, I'm going to just put a little piece of washi tape so that it doesn't move. Okay, so that makes that beautiful little piece there. This can get put away now. I absolutely love these dies. They're my favorite new dies from the new catalog because I know I can use them on so many different projects. So I love them. And so now we're just going to simply put together the card, starting with this base peach pie piece, and I'm just going to just like push the glue down into the paper and then organize that on top there so that it's perfectly centered best that I can. Now these two pieces are going to go together. Again, going to add this piece on top of the white here. And then there's just like a little tiny trim of white on the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to line up my ribbon. So the ribbon, I'm just going to attach a piece here, like this. And then I make another one that's the same length. And so you can add this a couple of different ways. You can add a little glue dot if you want to, or you can use tape, just regular old tape, which is what I'm going to do. So So I just line this up like this with the top of the designer series paper. So you still get to see that white at the top. Pull it all the way across those top little lily pads. And we're going to use some tape to secure that on. Same for the bottom. And if you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do so. I love having and making these tutorials so that people can get some fun ideas of different things to do. And if you subscribe, then you will be the first to know when I post something new, when I post something that, and I try to do at least 1 or 2 tutorials during the month because I have small children, and sometimes is 1, you know, sometimes if I get a little bit of extra time I'll do 2, but at the end of the month. So typically on the last day of the month or the Friday before the last day of the month is when I will post them. So you can pop this up on dimensionals if you want. I chose not to, just to keep it simple. I feel like I have been really out of like everything. It's like I'm running out of everything all at the same time, and it's funny because I have dimensionals now, but I just got a package where I got more, and I was almost completely out of them, and I was like, oh, I guess I need to come up with some ideas that don't use a million dimensionals so that when I'm running low, I can still create cards. So I'm just going to pop this one up with 1 dimensional, and this is going to go up in this top corner like this. And then lastly, I'm going to create a little bow, a tiny bow. And pull that. I kind of made it tiny, as small as I could, so that it was easy to place in this upper corner. And I just used a glue dot, so I just am grabbing a glue dot, a mini glue dot on the back of here. I'm actually going to do 2 just because I didn't get that on straight. But I'll do 2 so that it's definitely going on and not coming off. And I'm just going to pop that right on the top of my sentiment like that. And it's not a card without some bling, so I really love adding some bling. I'm just gonna add a couple of big pieces here. There we go. So 3 is just a magic number. So I'm all done with the card designs that I have for you tonight. Again, this is the Lily Pond Lane Suite. The Charming Duck Pond is the name of the stamps. And let me show you all of the designs here. So that's the first card, or the last card, I'm sorry. Last card, middle card, so you can see the little bit of difference between these 2. And then the simple stamper is the last one here. And so you can see they're a little bit different. They're all a little bit different, but similar. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please again give me a like, subscribe, and so you can look out for my future tutorials that I'm going to do. And I hope that you had fun. I hope you'll make these cards. If you do, please tag me at Handmade with Tara, and let me know if you make any of these designs, because I would love to see if anybody can make them, or it was able to easily get through them without any missing parts. Okay, so other than that, I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful day, a week, month, everything. And well, I'll see you next time. Thank you so much again for joining me. Have a great night.